is this just fantasy? Yeah, it pretty much is, or at least it's using the art of fantasy. So this is a little different than, we're not doing comics, but it is definitely comics adjacent. This is a set of oracle cards by the great Becky Cloonan, who is one of my favorite artists. I have several pieces of hers up on my walls. I'll share those at some point. But she is the creator of many great comics, great artist, also great writer. And one of the things that I really love is her book called By Chance or Providence, which is a collection of short stories that she has written and illustrated. And this is a set of cards inspired by the characters and events and what have you of the book By Chance or Providence. So it's they're oracle cards, which are similar to like tarot cards. So the imagery of it's supposed to evoke certain ideas when you have like a question in mind or something like that. So it's not necessarily going to tell you your future, but it may give you some insight into how you're feeling, what you want. Deck of cards, 40 cards by Becky Cloonan, inspired by myth, folklore, and cautionary tales. And this is a guidebook included, which we'll take a look at. But for the most part, I just want to look at the imagery of the cards, because what she's done is she's created these just great evocative images from her comic. Not necessarily taken from her comic, but just inspired by the characters. So let's get into it. All right, so here are our cards. I think they, the design of them is really nice. They're really nice quality too. I'm trying to sell them. Actually, I encourage you to buy things from her, because I think that she is an amazing artist, and I think you will love it. So this is the back of the card, and I love a double-sided image. I really, and I love the snaking of this incense from this, one of the Norns, or one of the, the fates here, telling you your fortune. I really love it. So let's get into the cards then. So we have the Knight. So right away, one of the things I want to note is it's gorgeous black and white art, which I'm a fan of black and white art. I'm a big proponent of it. But what we have here is we have it's not just great art and costuming. Look at the chainmail there, first of all, and then just the armor in general, the great posture, great expression, the lighting, using that use of gray to show little highlights and scratches, but also show the cast light from the branches. So here we have a knight who, I get the impression of someone who is noble, who is just, who, but who maybe has a little bit of darkness to him, because he is a knight, he is a warrior, and that's just how these people are. All right, here we have the squire, very nice, related to the knight, very, nice youthful looking image. Look at the bark of the trees and the nice silhouettes of those branches back there. Just great rendition of the medieval world, or just the natural world, I should say. Great shadow here on the cast by the clothing here. It just feels dimensional, feels like thick fabric. Great costuming here. The ghost. Now here's where we get some of the amazing facial work, dramatic lighting that Becky Cloonan is so good at. There's something sensual, something mysterious, but also creepy, these weird disembodied hands kind of gripping this figure, and yet hearing that it's a ghost, it's unsettling. But it's not. It is definitely, even just how they are dressed. It's it feels fantasy. It feels appropriate. It's not just any old ghost. It's a fantasy ghost. Here we go. The Withering Swamp. So look at these trees, these roots. Look at this skull with plants, mushrooms growing out of the mouth. And we have this solitary figure going in to explore. Armored up and prepared, but still that sword across the chest seems like it's very, very cautious. Love the dripping, like moss right here. So wonderful. Also, a nice little haze into the gray back here. You know, shows you're entering a dark place. Seems foreboding. The letter, yeah. Oh wow. So this, I mean, again, a lot can be imposed upon to these characters in the art here. So, I feel like the contents of the letter, this can either be a good or a bad letter. It all depends on how you feel, maybe, when in regards to your oracle, right? 3 days rations. So if this is like a journey. Love the rendition of these clouds and just these wisps of line, and also the long shadows here. It seems like it's a long journey with that may only have 3 days rations. So that maybe you don't have enough, or not sure if you have enough to make the journey. Great use of shadows. Again, the depiction of the natural world is so important to fantasy. Will-o'-the-wisps, that's a great folklore figure. And also, it's not just a ball of light. It's this, like, almost like snake-like, feminine figure. Again, great trees. I love the it almost looks like veins, the definition of the bark. But just, yeah, all these great angles in here. And again, very evocative, very mysterious, but also alluring, and enticing. You may be like, I'm curious. I want to follow that. I don't know. It's great. All right, here we go. Look at this castle. A deserted castle. So, like, is this a guard? Is this someone leaving? Is this someone deciding not to enter? Don't know. But, like, look at this moat. It's the moat with, like... Why am I blanking on what those are called? Lily pads. Lily pads. Yeah. These great lily pads in here. And just like, yeah, like how fine and even deteriorated these ropes are for the drawbridge, and how craggy these rocks are, and the silhouette of the tree against it. This is, you could use this as like, you can use these cards for your D&D or your role playing. Like, this is just great imagery to go along with it. The haunted dagger, like, again, just great imagery. First of all, I would get a print of all of these, like a nice big print of them. But it's also like, it's storytelling. Like, there's a story here, and you're asked to invent it. The battlefield, again, like, great use of silhouette, great use of gray, and also, like, this person. Yeah, it's all great, and it's all classic fantasy stuff. I want to see her make more fantasy books, which apparently she's planning on it. So what we got here? We got the old book. Again, it's beat up enough to look like a fantasy. You got these great little sigils on it, sword, torch, and like, I forget what that's called, but I know it's like a U wand, or it's like a dowsing wand or something. Again, yeah, great use of gray. Nice little highlight here on the spine. It's just such a great little image. The fisherman. I love the draped net over his head. And it looks like he's speared some food here. He's a spear fisherman. Great imagery, great use of storytelling, and I like how it's a simple garment, but like, just the cut of the neckline and the threading there tells me the time period. It tells me it's fantasy. It's not just any old guy. The hag. Oh man, so I love like the scales on her face here, and this like kind of animal skin hood. The glowing eyes. Love those glowing eyes. Again, great stuff. The sea. See, that's a foreboding. Love the sudsy sea over here of this body. I love the hand reaching out of the water, and then the body underneath. There's sadness there, but also the eyes glowing. The storm. Love that lightning. Love the gradient to the gray here, and I love how it illuminates her, and she's braving the storm. So that's a really cool image. The shipwreck. The survivor or not. Great stuff. I can't like gush over every card. I kind of want to, but I need to, these are, I can get through these quicker probably. 7 drops of blood. See, 7 drops. And who they're from or who they're for. See, and I love the hair coming out of these drops. That's magic right there. That is how you depict some magic. That's like gross and grit. See, seal skin. Oh, like that's not a Nixie. That is a Selkie. Yeah, so like a person wearing a seal skin disguised as a seal, but they're coming revealed. Great crashing waves, great like surf right here, but also amazing use of black. Gosh, wish I could be that good. The child. Yeah, like again, like very fairy tale imagery here. I really love that. Love those little flowers there. Could also be maybe dandelion puffs. But that tree and those silhouettes, very Mignola, like late 80s, early 90s Mignola, with the way these trees and the way these blacks are spotted, especially these roots and like up in here, which, calling anything Mignola-esque is in my book a big compliment because they're great. But then I could also call it Cloonan-esque, sorry. And saying something that's very Cloonan-esque would be a compliment because obviously an amazing talent here. Love the wisps and like the kind of sparks, even like the moths right there attracted to the candle. Also love that the wax is melting over her hand. I mean, I get a magical sense from this figure. The steed. Oh man, see, like I love like the pouring smoke from the steed. I also love the spots. Add some texture to the patterning of the horse. Just gorgeous stuff. But it's also powerful. The ring. All right, yeah, here we go. We got some magic. Also just love the simplicity of like it's rings around rings. It's like a water ring. It's like you're gazing into a viewing pool and you're seeing this woman with her magic ring. Also, I just love the design of that ring. It's simple, but it's also distinct. Great, and also the headdress. It's really lovely. Everything's lovely what she does. The chalice. Oh my god, look at this costume. Look at the hair. Look at the hair. This costume is amazing. I love the details on the sleeves and the crisscross. That chalice, that hand, that everything. The bend of the smoke and the shadowing of the smoke around the head. It's perfect. This is, again, these just single strong images that can just evoke an entire world of storytelling. The witch house. I mean, Jesus Christ. I was just saying, a single image tells an amazing story. Like we can get hints of their costume, we can get sense of them. This person's, he's taking chances, but he's prepared, he thinks, to meet the witch, but you're never ready to meet the witch. Just gorgeous. And this is another, 3 wishes. So I love this, 3 branches for the wishes. Love this ghostly figure just in the gray. Oh my gosh. Again, so evocative. The crown. A magical crown. See, that's amazing magical stuff. That reminds me of some of the imagery from The Green Knight, which that's something that I want to talk about. I don't know how. I don't know if I'm just going to show clips from the movie or what, but The Green Knight is an amazing modern fantasy film and something that I would love to see more of. But I'm talking about Becky Cloonan right now, and just look at the rings here. Look at that. And the light here. It's all so amazing. The pyre. I don't know. Just that's a bold image. It just makes me think that this person is fearless in the face of the pyre and face of burning. That magical glow to their eye says that it may not be a danger, but it also could just be the final wink before going away. See, again, if you're asking a question, you get the pyre, for your divination session. It could be you say goodbye to something, or it could be that you should, you may say goodbye to something, but you should be okay with it, be competent. I don't know. This is my interpretation. The fur cloak has very much like lovers imagery, very, very affectionate. And I love that. So this is, I mean this as a compliment. I really love that. So we have this bearded man, this bearded figure here. Very, it's like a masculine look. And here we have, it could be interpreted as a feminine, or it could be determined as masculine, or non-binary. But there's, this loving relationship between these two people, and that may have been intentional, may not, but I actually love how open that is, for just showing a show of intimacy, but also the fur of the cloak, which is the point of the piece, just looks amazing. I love those little slats of gray in there just to add more dimension to it. I mean, the dead, with the coins over the eyes, like the ancient Greeks, the incense, it's all classic imagery, and yet the image itself is so just evocative, and it's also very Becky Cloonan. It's just such great use of blacks, great use of line. It's like it's creamy inking, just gorgeous. It's creaming like a delicious coffee. It's just great. There we go. The widow. See what I love is that, it's this beautiful, beautiful figure. I love like the swirling of the water. You might even think that they're a widow because of the drowned man in the sea before, huh? Maybe it's related to the short story, maybe not, who knows? But I just love that tear in that white there. Because like it could have just been, this woman here, but no, it is 100%, that's the widow portion of it. And also love the shine to the hair. It's just so strong. The Raven. Now this is a print right here. Love, it's very, very Norn like, very Norse mythology right here. This is, I love the graininess of the grays in the back there. But those ravens look amazing. Love the highlights in the feathers, and also just the shadow of the hood right there. Just everything is an expert move here. Here we go, the queen. And I love the shine, the shine coming off to distinguish the edges of the hood. Love the line work of this robe, because it's simple, but it adds like a sense of finery to it. And of course you have like these gorgeous little jewels, which includes like an inverted cross, it looks like. So kind of a dark queen, because again she's wearing dark clothing. Love these like claw tooth elements to the band, and just there's a sense of confidence, a sense of seduction, but also power. Like she's seducing you, but that's because you are not in control here. She's the queen. It's really great stuff. The hunter, and I love the humility here. This hunter, who looks like he's he's gotten through some scrapes. Maybe even in his last scrape, looks like he's got an arrow in him here. But just I love the tenderness of these leaves. Both the light and the dark, which I feel like is representative of the hunter themselves. They're both light and dark. They're a shadowy figure. They kill, but they also kill to provide. It's the kind of the paradox of life itself, even is the need for life to consume life in order to sustain itself. I'm just waxing philosophical about these oracle cards. Don't mind me. Here we go, the king. So it's interesting contrast to where the queen has this, You know, like I can, you know, I'm basically almost undressed, and yet I have exude this power. Whereas the king, it seems like he needs all these affects. He needs his old, you know, his father's sword or grandfather's sword. You know, it's all beat up and gnarled, and not a great sword, but still an affect of power. He needs his crown. He needs his jewels and his armor and his furs. You know, he needs these affects, you know, and even like this halo around his head to show you that he's powerful. You know, it's all visual. It's all performance. It's really rather something. I actually have a print very similar to this the wolf, which I mean, of course, I'm the wolf. Love this kind of flames. It's a wolf, but it's not a wolf. It's more than a wolf. Love all these arrows pointing in at it. It is just exciting and gorgeous. It's simple, and yet it tells you all the information, and it's dangerous as well as vulnerable. You see a little tear there. Like it is, you know, it's persecuted, but it's also dangerous. You know, it's everything. Lovely here, the moon. You know, image of what either the goddess Artemis or the servant of the goddess Artemis. You know, moon goddess. All like the moon phases in this. The illumination from below is a really nice touch, as if like whatever she's pouring out, this moon liquid, say, is illuminating her from below. Just such a great sense of lighting. That's Cloonan-esque. Let's call that Cloonan-esque. Just this impeccable sense of lighting. The sword. Now that yeah, that doesn't, you know, that isn't the start of a story. I don't know what it is. Just this you know, stabbed into a stump sword. You know, beams of light and, you know, undergrowth all around it. That's the start of a story. That's just the power of like a single image. Really wonderful stuff. The open door. See, it's interesting here is there's a sense of vulnerability, there's a sense of danger, but you know, it's also it's not sure, or it's not certain if we fully understand the dynamic here. But it is just such a great image, and that you could put so many different ideas to. And I guess that's the power of an oracle card, is you can kind of put all sorts of things to it. So we hear the scattered wards. So the wards are like, you know, feathers, bones, skulls, you know, sticks and such. And this conjurer is scattering them to do some divination, do some you know, so like yeah, that's old school earthy magic there. And I'm a big fan of magic being, in, you know, fiction being something that is a little bit mysterious, a little bit kind of gross, a little based upon, you know, inference and stuff like that. Less codified, like I'm going to cast this spell and it does this much damage. You know, I would never want to write that way. And last but not least, we have the bag of gold, which, again, another thing that's Cloonan-esque is an entire story in a single image. That's Cloonan-esque. Just, yeah, the scattered bits of gold, and, you know, it's clearly not worth it. Just such great physicality and expression. The line work is just amazing. You know, the empty trees show the emptiness of the gold. Just, it's all there. And then here at the end we have the kind of guide oracle based on By Chance of Providence. Look at this lovely eye. Look at that, so amazing. But yeah, and so this is just the instructions for how she suggests you use them. And then she even has like little interpretations of all the cards. So really great stuff. So what else can be said about these cards? I mean, nothing, because we've said plenty, and I think what I think of them. And they are gorgeous. They have just it's each one is a story in a single image, and I am just going to say that I highly recommend you support creative people like Becky Cloonan. I think that she is an amazing talent visually, and also an amazing talent storyteller. I think that she's done some great work on Wonder Woman recently. She has done great work of her own. I mean, that's where I kind of came to really love and appreciate her work is her own create her own stuff. So I highly recommend you seeking out the book By Chance or Providence, where these characters and some of this imagery comes from, and I'll be talking about that book in a forthcoming video, because it's on my shelf as one of the greats in the fantasy comic genre. And while I have you here and I'm talking fantasy, I would like to propose that you check out another fantasy artist or fantasy creator, and that is me. So I am an independent comic artist, and I have a book called Side Questers that has 8 issues currently out right now. And I also have the whole thing collected in this book here called Fetch Me a Lizard Man. It's volume 1 of Side Questers. And it is about my main character here, Cindy, she's like a noble warrior who's out to serve her land and her king and all that good stuff. And she has to team up with this big, lizard dude to do her job, and changes her whole life. And it's full of action. It's full of some comedy. It is. I try to do as much as I can with like world building, and I try to tell a story, the kind of fantasy story that I would want to read. And you can buy a physical copy in this volume or in the individual issues. You can also read it on Global Comics. I also have a set of short stories in my Haxan books, similar to By Chance or Providence, in that it's a set of short stories that I've done. They are all based around different magic users that exist in the same universe as side questers. But they're all kind of little one-offs, and I feel like they are, I don't know, they're just fun little stories. Some of them are kind of dark, but they're all, have to do with the fantasy world I'm creating here. And then if you're interested in other stuff, like you're interested in superheroes and comedy, I have 3-panel Origin, which is my homage to the Tick and other kind of goofy superheroes, where I create a character and tell their origin in 3 panels. Like, for instance, Jello Mold is the Jello that was left in the back of a fridge too long, and it mutated into this giant sentient monster. So, fun goofy stuff like that. A lady who was pretending to be a cactus to sneak past the border guards becomes mistaken for a superhero and becomes the representative superhero of Arizona, Cactus Lady. So, just fun stuff. This is the first 3 years collected into a single book, but it is an online webcomic. I update every Thursday. Every new one every Thursday. Doing it for 8 years. And if you like that, I also have a book of short stories here called 3PO Comics, and it's characters from those comics just having their own little adventures, and they're all very different, but they're all silly, and I'm really proud of these. And I also I try to pimp my stuff in this one too. And by the way, this is how I would pitch Side Questers to everybody. It's the best odd couple buddy cop fantasy comic ever, if I do say so myself, and I do. So yeah, this is how I am going to support doing more of these videos, is by just suggesting that you buy my comics, or I also have art prints and stuff available. But I just want to once again say that I think that Becky Cloonan is an incredible talent, and you should support what they create. She's amazing. And I also want to tell you to go check out By Chance or Providence. It is one of the modern classics of fantasy comics.